One of the exercises that's in my book is what you're looking at right here. And it's really about having you take a step back from sort of your day-to-day experience and all the things we've been talking about authenticity all day. We were talking about being your true self and not worrying about what other people want for you, not what your parents want, not what your man wants, not what your friend wants, but what do you really want? Who are you really? What is the vision that you have inside of yourself? I know I felt like this for a long time, that there was something more I was supposed to do and something bigger I was supposed to do, but I felt, at the same time, I still felt pressure that I had to be a certain thing. You're raised in a family, you have to be a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher, or these particular things that people expected of me. And I kind of just wanted to do things my own way. And I want you guys to be thinking about that. And it doesn't matter where you are in life. Doesn't matter what your age is, whatever you're doing. For each of these different areas that are on this slip, I want you to be thinking about what are some goals you might have in that area. I give all my clients this assignment, and what I find is that they get such interesting responses because the first time they do it, they still only write down what they think is possible, what they could imagine themselves doing at the time. I know I could probably take a class somewhere and finish that or get a certificate, but they don't think big picture. So I've had people literally do it. We have a session and they say, can I do it again? And they want to do it again because they know when they did it the first time they were holding back. They didn't really put into it what was really, really deep in their heart. The thing that they're so afraid to tell anybody else or write down because they feel like if they admit that they want it, now they're afraid that they won't get it. And they'd almost rather not dream and fantasize about something and get excited and put it out there in the world if it's just going to turn around and not happen. But why would Christian people feel that way? Right? We got Jesus. We have a relationship with God, so we should feel very hopeful about what's possible, what we can do together. The other thing I noticed sometimes is I used to pray very specifically for things for God. Like, I want this show, or I want to accomplish these particular things. I want a book, and I want this, and I want that. And I didn't get some things, and in the beginning I used to feel like, well, why aren't you giving me all these things? And that's when I learned firsthand that rejection really is God's protection. There's many a man that I was never supposed to be with. This year's my 10th year wedding anniversary. So all them fools that missed out, too bad for them, wasn't meant to be. I had to keep going, but you feel, sometimes you don't have a romantic relationship. You feel like, oh, well, am I not a good person to partner up with? Yes, but you have to wait on God to send you the right partner. So I used to get upset when I didn't get these TV jobs. And then I would see the show come out, and it was a disaster. The show was a disaster, and it happened time, because you do auditions, and it happened time after time after time. And I said, I got to change my prayer. I don't just want any old thing. I don't want it just because I think I want it. God, I want your will to be done in my life. So just give me what you have that's meant for me. Because if it's meant for me, all the other people trying out, oh, well, too bad for them. There's nothing that God can't do for me. So if it's mine, I'm going to get it. And if I don't, I'm going to wait on the thing that he really wants for me. So I want you to be able to sort of prayerfully and with an open mind work on answering these questions, but going deep in your heart. Because when you leave here, you're going to have a beautiful vision board, but you're also going to have sort of this agreement between you and yourself. And you don't necessarily have to share it with anybody else if you don't want to, but I want you to be able to go through all of the things on here and write down what you want to happen, not what you think could happen, what might happen. If it could be your own way, if you could design your life right now using these questions, what would you write down? And so when it comes to, so I want you, and there's if you don't have your own paper, there's paper inside your program. There's a space where there's lines. I mean, for you to really do this, I want you to make a promise to yourself that you will allow your authentic self to come through. And part of being real with yourself is being real about what you want. starting with your romantic life. If you could make the relationship you wanted, if you could tell that story of what it looked like, what would your partner look like? What would be his qualities? What kind of things would you do in your life with that mate? What kind of goals and aspirations would you all have? Same thing with family. In your ideal world, do you want more kids? Maybe you want grandkids. Maybe you want to spend more time with your family. Maybe you want to have Sunday dinners like they did on Soul Food. Some people, not everybody has that. But you can start your own traditions. Same thing with friendship and community. What kind of people do you want to be friends with? What kind of friend do you want to be? You could change your friendships just by being the kind of friend you wish you had. What kind of community things are you involved in, or that you should get involved in, that you could be involved in? So many people have a talent, a gift for leadership, but they're just scared to step out on faith and see if they can be successful. But look at all the people around you. We've all taken a risk at something, and it worked out. And so you just have to be faithful that it's possible. Now, that's the relationship stuff. But the psychologist in me wants you to go mind, body, spirit, too. We got a lot of mental health issues. So you see that part about psychological well-being. How is your health? In your ideal world, how is it? And what kind of things could you be doing right now to get you to that space you need to be in? You know what it is. You don't want your friend to tap you and call you crazy. You already know if you got something to work on. So put down there where you want to go. These are the little seeds that you're planting, the little wishes that you have for yourself, the whispering that you hope God hears and listens. And then, of course, you have to just be open for what he was willing to do with you. You want to think about your spirituality. What aren't you doing that you would love to be doing? Is there a role you want to play in your church? Do you want to make a commitment to read the Bible on a more regular basis, to understand it, to join a group that discusses it, to lead a group to discuss it? What about your space even the physical space that you're living in? Is it inviting? Is it inspiring? Is it motivating? Is it uplifting? Describe what that space should look like, and then make a commitment to turning it into that thing. And, you know how we are with health and fitness. It doesn't matter. My girlfriend, I have a friend who's a trainer. She calls me skinny fat. She does. She said, because you can be on a slender side, but you got more fat on your body than muscle. You want to be toned. You need to be muscular, whether you're skinny or not skinny. You want to be in good health. So whatever you want to look like, however you want to feel, that's what goes into this. And then lastly, for the professional development, it's never too late to go back to school. It's not too late to change careers. It's not too late to start a business. You can start a business on top of the career you have. You can do two things at once. What would you want your career like? Where do you want to work? Who do you want to work with or for? Is it a particular company? Is it something you want to do on your own? I want you thinking about all these things. And thinking about your finances. Do you have financial goals? You want to have a certain amount of money saved for your retirement? Saved to send your kids to college? So what is it that you might just be thinking of that you need to do for yourself? We're going to have a little bit of quiet time so you guys can work on this. I just wanted to talk through some of the things and the ideas I have around this, but we really want you to leave here feeling empowered. And I know what happens when you try to think about all these things. You're trying to think out of the box, but you get scared. You're worried what people will think when they see you trying to do this. What makes you think you can do this? Don't worry about them. They're not going to be around. You're going to be out there doing your thing. They're going to be sitting back hating. Haters going to hate. That's all right. It doesn't matter. See how she said? That's their job. And when you're sitting up there all successful, you get to say, thank you, Lord. It was his vision for me. I believed. My prayers were answered. That's what I say. If you like anything I'm saying or anything I'm doing, God gets all the credit. People think I'm so smart. I have 3 degrees. God helps me with all my homework. Seriously. Every break I've ever gotten, every school I've ever been accepted to, God was just there along the way, supporting me. I didn't do it by myself. I could never take all the credit for all the help that people would just come out the woodwork offering you. For every teacher to just, I was a teacher's pet like nobody's business. But they could see something in me. They knew I needed to be nurtured. And so they brought me along. I didn't just wake up feeling like I'm so smart. No, they told me I was smart. They pushed me into advanced classes. And I was happy to do it. But it was still part of God's plan for me to be in this space. So I want you to just listen to that small, still voice inside of you that's pushing you in a direction. You know what it is. I don't have to say. You don't have to say. You already know. It's the thing you've been thinking about, the thing you want to do. You know. Maybe you did tell somebody, your best friend, your mama, your boyfriend. Somebody knows. But if nobody else knows, you know. And what are you waiting for? If you were waiting for somebody to come along and tell you to do it, here I am. I'm your messenger. I am your messenger that says, start doing that thing you're supposed to be doing. That's what Jennifer and I were talking about. That's why when she called me and she said, when she sent me the text, said, do you want to do it? I couldn't say no. It was like, well, then you're not being obedient. You can't ask for stuff all the time, and then God tells you what you're supposed to do, and then you don't go and do it. He's always, there's messages all the time. Even when we were just talking about the 20 women, talking about being isolated. I read on there, it said sometimes people just need a compliment or a good word. I will be in the elevator all the time. I'm staring at the ground, and a little voice in me will say, tell that person you like their shoes. Compliment that person. Say hello. Make a comment about the weather. Anything. What? Why are you telling me to do these things? Because you just never know. I don't even need to know why. I know God just wants me to be obedient. Open my mouth and say that thing to those people. And so when Jennifer texted me, I was like, this is not an ask. This is an answer, because I've prayed to God about certain things, and here comes the opportunity. When you write all these things down and now they're in your mind, you start to notice opportunities that have always been right in front of you that you just never even thought about. You didn't notice it. You're so busy trying to hide your dream and push it down and put it off to the side that you don't even see the people around you and the opportunities that are constantly popping up. God's showing up in different people, like how she showed up. He's showing up on different calls you may get, something you'll notice that you were reading the internet or a magazine. All these little seeds of encouragement have been laid along the way, because part of what you're feeling inside in your small voice is your own voice, but it's also partly God too, because he does have a plan for you. And you do have your own personal ministry. Your life, as you walk around the planet, you represent him. So everything you do and every person you meet and every person you talk to and whatever you do that you do well, that's part of your personal ministry. And so he's constantly giving you these little bits of information to gently nudge you. I'm here to be a bigger push. I'm a physical manifestation that says, hey, if you don't hear God's little voice, listen to me shouting. He wants you to be successful at the thing that you feel in your heart is the thing you're meant to do. Okay? So isn't it time? Isn't it time that you finally go ahead and write it down? So I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to give you some time to just start writing some of these things down. This is a promise between you and yourself, you and God. You're going to make an agreement to move your life in this particular direction. We're all going to pray for each other. Take 10 minutes. I know that's just for one, right? I know that's just for one.